Thank you for joining me. This is Katie Whitledge with the Beyond the Technique podcast. I'm super excited. We're going to talk about this purpose driven salon owner. Who is it? We have first time guest Shelby Bills here today. I can't wait for you to meet Shelby. Let me tell you a bit about her. She is a purpose driven leader and a high achiever, passionately focusing on personal development and fostering a team driven workplace, the culture and leadership. As the owner and CEO of Graber and Company, a top 200 salon in the US and founder of Graber Academy, Shelby is an Idaho native. She enjoys life with her two amazing kids, Kai and Kira. Hopefully, I said that correctly. Traveling the world with her fiance and creating memorable moments along the way. You're going to learn about her story today. She is recognized as an Idaho business accomplished 40 under 40 woman. She is a 2023 CEO of Influence, honoree, and proud member and leader at the High Performance Salon Academy, which is where Shelby and I met. So, without further ado, I cannot wait to share her story and her expertise with you. Shelby Bills, welcome to Beyond the Technique.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
So the pleasure is mine. I'm really excited. I got to know you a little bit at one of the High Performance Salon Academy events, and you definitely have awesome leadership uh, skills, and just your presence is amazing, and your willingness to push yourself out of your comfort zone is really inspiring. And you are a purpose driven salon owner. We're going to get to what that means here in a moment, but I want to start with your story, Shelby. How did you or why did you decide to get into the beauty industry?
Wow. Okay. Thank you. So it started, I was 19 years old and I started working at the front desk at Graber and Company, which is the salon I now own. I didn't know that I wanted to be in the beauty industry. That's not necessarily where I was going. I come from a whole family of entrepreneurs. Everyone ran their own businesses. I knew I was going to do that someday. I just didn't know what it was going to be. And I kind of fell into this job because of a friend that invited me to come work there, and I love it. And I love the industry, the ability to make clients' days brighter. They would walk in maybe feeling down or sad, or they had their life going on, and they would leave like they were walking on clouds, and they were brighter and lighter and better. And I was like, I have to be a part of this. And so that's where my journey began almost 22 years ago. And I was fortunate enough, I bought out my boss when I was 25 and became the managing partner of Graber and Company. In between that a stint, I worked for Aveda for a little while. I was the rep for Idaho for about 10 months, where I learned all about salon leadership, salon ownership, things I would do, things I wouldn't do. And I was able to come back and bring that back to Graber and Company and work my way up. And I have bought out each one of my partners since over the last 15 years, and now own the company and have an amazing team and just keep moving.
There's just so much to unpack here. What? So 22 to 25. Like, I don't know many 25-year-olds who would be like, I want to buy you. To even think of it as an option, I think is inspiring, but to be like financially positioned to do it. So, what gave you that drive? Like, I kind of want a piece of the pie here. I want to have some ownership here.
Well, so running the front desk is such a pivotal piece, I think, in any business and as an entrepreneur. But if you want to take your business to the next level, for me, it all starts at the front desk. It starts with the customer service, all the systems, the processes. I was like, oh, I've got this. This is really cool. And then when I went to work for Aveda and I was working with salon owners, and some of them didn't have the systems and processes. Most of them were hairdressers behind the chair. They didn't necessarily know how to run pieces and parts of their business. And that's where I came in with a whole different lens. My background is in business and marketing. I'm not licensed on purpose. I have done everything except for work behind the chair or in a treatment room. And I fell in love with that part of it because I could see the opportunities in the salon industry where I could grow it and I could be really successful. So then I came back and worked for Graber, and I was the manager there and spent about 3 years negotiating with my boss. She was amazing. And at the time, really showed me things that I wanted to do in business. And also she showed me things that I didn't want to do and opportunities that I could make changes. And we spent 3 years negotiating a price and our agreement. And I think right around my 25th, right before my 25th birthday, is when we finally transitioned and bought her. I bought her out, and she retired shortly after that. So yeah.
Wow, and to have that experience, like, to step away and get that experience as a sales rep for a product company, I think is really smart too. You got to see a different side of the business. To
Yes.
bring that back is really cool. How did I feel like the team would have taken that well because you kind of have earned their right. You have served them. No, tell me about that.
No, no, it was like the exact opposite. So Graber and Company at that time they had been around for 40-ish years. And so the owners at that time, they were the second owners that had bought out the founders. There were four of them. They were four hairstylists, and they were all probably in like their mid 50s, early to mid 50s at that time. And all the stylists there, they were a booth rental salon, and most of the stylists there were their age, they were their friends, and they were kind of in that mindset of like, I show up, I do my thing, and I leave, and these are my friends. So when I bought her out at 25 years old and all of these people are 50, 55, 60, they were like, no way. And because you're not a hairdresser, you have no idea how to run a salon. So I had a walkout. I experienced my first walkout very shortly after that. Actually, when I was pregnant with my daughter, I was on bed rest. I had 7 people leave my company in one day. And I had to learn how to rebuild, restart, and go again and figure it out.
Okay, first off, that right there could put most people in a spot where they're like, "Forget this. What was I thinking?" But
Yeah.
you didn't give up. Why not?
Um, I believed in the business. So at that time, I believed in Graber and Company, and I believed in the business and the ability to transform people's lives. I couldn't say that back then. Like, I didn't know that that was the reason, but it was the reason, if that makes sense. Like, I knew how important this business had been around for 4 decades. It was now my responsibility to keep it going. And I had this weight, but also this vision that it could be better than it ever was. And now I get to figure that out. And it was hard. It was one of the hardest times, most stressful times of my life. I came back 3 days after my daughter was born, 3 days, and she was wrapped to my body. Right before that, when I had my son a few years before, I came back 12 days after he was born. And I knew that, like, this is where I wanted to go. And no one else was going to do it for me. It was up to me at that point. And I think I had to pull up that leadership piece that I didn't know that I had within me too.
Incredible. And so they were are they still is your business model where you still have booth rental or like rental? Like tell me how what kind of changes who have you made and what is Graber today?
Yeah. So about, let's see, I'm trying to think when it was. I think in 2015, I had two other partners at the time. Well, there were four of us. Two of them wanted to stay rental, and myself and my other partner, we did not. After that walkout, I had lost about a $500,000 in 12 days on another walkout in 2015 in the booth rental model. And I was no longer going to come to work and be with people who were like that I need my mentality. And unfortunately, that was my experience of the booth rental model at that time. And I believed that there could be a team and that we could grow up together, we could be successful together, that everybody could win. And they did not. So I ended up buying those two partners out so that I could transition the company and totally go from rental to employment. And at that time, had another walkout.
Okay, so is this your second or your third walkout?
That was my third. So in from 2009 to 2015, I had rebuilt the company 3 times.
Most
6
people
years,
gone through COVID are like, I don't know if I could ever go and rebuild again. And you've done it 3 times.
3 times.
Incredible.
And it really, in my experience, it really was because I am a leader of people and a believer in people, and I was running a business with the expectation to grow individuals, but it was a rental model because that's what I grew up in and I didn't really know any different. And so we were not in alignment. It wasn't in congruency with who I was as the owner and the leader, and then who the people were. So that I didn't know any better at that time.
And yet you've really grown Graber and it's
Yes.
become significant in a top 200 salon. Congrats.
Thank you.
Tell us about your team dynamic and your company and your
Yes.
building that you bought. This is incredible.
Thank you. Yes, so I have a phenomenal team. We have anywhere at any given time between 30 and 35 amazing professionals that work with us, from a concierge and support role to hairstylists to estheticians, makeup artists, leadership, all of that. I have 9 leaders on my team. We have this year 10 six-figure stylists, which I'm so proud of. That's something that has been on my heart, and what I wanted to do is help people grow to make enough money where money was never an issue so that they could lead a life of impact. So we're getting there even quicker than ever. It's a beautiful business. We create 5-star experiences for our clients, so every guest every time comes in the doors at Graber and Company, and they get to leave feeling more confident, lighter, brighter, that they had an experience that they will never get anywhere else. And we are on a mission to keep that going. And yeah, I bought a new space, a commercial space in downtown Boise, and permits will be released next week so we can start our demo and our build out. We should be in there summer 2024.
And what is Idaho like? Because, some people are like, "You're in Wisconsin, Katie. I can hear it in your accent. I've never been there. I don't know if I have a desire to go." And I'm like, "I promise it's cool, except for the winter. It's a nightmare." But what is it like in Idaho? What's the climate
Oh
like,
my
especially
gosh.
the beauty climate?
Yes. So I'm in Boise, so we're called the Treasure Valley. There's, I think, close to 2 million people in that space, which is awesome. But we have 19,000 licensed professionals in the state of Idaho. There's a salon about every 25 steps from me in downtown Boise. So there's little salons everywhere. We're not in a space, I think there's less than 10 employee based commission salons in my area. So we definitely are more rental, more independent. The suites are coming in Idaho. You can style hair and do makeup outside of a location. So we do have that, but you cannot cut and color outside of an establishment, which is great. And then we have barbershops all over the place. Barbershops are popping up all over the place too. So yeah, we've got a great beauty climate, and I would say it's fairly saturated, but there's also a big point of difference for every person here too.
Well, and yeah, your model has major points of difference, which is why your company's standing out and doing so well. And it's really because you're purpose driven. Tell me what it means to you to be a purpose driven owner.
Yes. So my job as a leader is to create more leaders. And whether that's their leaders in my company, their leaders in their own lives, whether that means that I lift them up and they go out and be leaders in a different business, that is on my heart every single day. And I want to empower more, primarily women and a few great men that I have on my team, and in my life, to live a great life. And I call it a lifestyle by design, and that we are a whole human focused company. So I focus on every human that walks in our door. They walk in as the whole human, they leave as the whole human. And so whether that's their mental, physical, spiritual, emotional purpose, their financial piece, whatever that is, I get to be a part of pouring into them and helping them grow in those areas. So every day it's very intentional. I don't make decisions, I think, just on a whim. Like, everything has to be aligned with who I am, who the business is, our core values, and where we're going in the future, and making sure that all my people are taken care of.
Yeah, I love that. And being intentional, I think, kind of I shared behind the scenes, a lot of owners are telling me that they're really trying to stay focused this year, or they're trying to get organized, or they're trying to simplify. Why do you think, in especially being a salon owner, we are kind of squirrel? We're
Mhm.
a little like quick to turn our head. How do we mitigate the many distractions? And distractions aren't always a bad thing. We could be
Mhm.
distracted with very positive things, but it really could steer us off course with what we're, intending to focus on for the year. So, what would your advice be, or what do you do for that?
That's such a great piece, because every day I could take a new idea and a new concept and run with it, and it wouldn't necessarily serve the big purpose and the vision. So for me, I have to put those kind of in a couple different categories. Like, I want to take care of my people first. If the company doesn't have a team of providers, then they can't serve the clients. And I want to take care of our clients. So if we don't have clients, I don't have a team, and then we don't have a company. So I call it the triple win. And so every decision that I make has to serve the company, the team, and the client. And if it doesn't, and if it's not going to, like if there's not going to be a return on that investment, whether that investment is time, talent, money, whatever that looks like, it has to have a return in all three of those areas, or I have to set it to the side for later. And it's fun because I have a must do and I have a to do list. My must do must take care of all of those things. My to do list is usually something fun or, something else that I'm like, oh, I'm really interested in that, but I don't know enough. And it doesn't necessarily serve all three of those. So I kind of put that off to the side.
I think this is great advice, and I like that your triple win approach is kind of a compass to helping you quickly and easily make decisions. And then based on what you decide, it kind of pops into this is a must do, to do, or archive that one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
um, so really, really good stuff. Who do you kind of either learn from or put yourself around in order to really stay centered and on track with all of your goals?
Yes. I believe in mentors, coaches, trainers, workshops. Like I am constantly in some kind of personal development, professional development, or industry specific training at least once a week, if not multiple times a week. I do large events at least once a month, industry events once a quarter, and then I do personal development training for myself and my heart at least every 6 to 8 months, or I start to see that I fall back and I kind of go back into maybe some old patterns or behaviors. So if I'm constantly around people who want more, who want to do more, who want to be more in their lives, then I get to stay really focused on what's most important for me. And how do I do that while having a fiance and being a mom and being part of the community and all of those other things too. So
Well, how do you do that with staying
yeah,
a mom and be able to?
yeah. So industry, I love High Performance Salon Academy. Industry wise, that is where my heart has been the last 4 years. It was the perfect piece of personal development and industry specific as I have been yet. I've spent the last 10 years really diving into my personal development through PSI seminars. They do lifestyle workshops, life success course trainings, women's and men's leadership trainings. So I spent a lot of time there. I do a lot with Portland Warren, who is a coach and a mentor of mine. I have local mentors and trainers who are in my life. And so just making sure I'm around the people who are doing the things that I want to do is the most important.
Hmm. Just for everybody listening, I've done now over 500 episodes and I've had over 450 guests on this show. And I just had to point out that the one thing I notice that high performing salon owners or driven, focused, purpose focused salon owners like yourself have in common, the common thread to me is this desire and this personal value of being a lifelong learner.
Ooh,
And it
yes.
resonates with me, and I think it's so important because the more you grow, everybody grows. So I love that you make that such an intention of focus and priority for your life.
Hmm. Thank you. Well, and,
Yeah.
and it is it's an investment. And I think as entrepreneurs, the investment comes in so many different forms. And if we're not willing to invest in ourselves and growing ourselves, how are we supposed to expect our teams to invest in them or our customers, our clients to invest in our businesses or our community to invest in us? Like leadership starts from the top and it starts with us. And every time we get to step forward into a new role, hopefully we're reaching our hand back and pulling up someone else to step into that place too.
Well, absolutely. And I know that you are very goal driven. You have a lot of objectives that you want to achieve. What are your main objectives for 2024?
Oh, for 2024. Oh, it's a new year and I love a new year, Katie. Like this is my most favorite thing because, last year's over. That's cool. I'll reflect on it, what worked, what didn't work, but now it's like I get to create whatever I want and it's so fun. I'll geek out on it with my team. I don't know, they're probably over it, but it's a lot of fun. So this year my goal my first financial goal for this company is to be a $3 million company this year. When I purchased the company, we weren't even $1 million company. And for me to have the business that I want to have with as many leaders as I want to have, we need to be having a minimum of $3 million so that I have the revenue to hire the right people and put them in the right place to support this dynamic, amazing team that I'm creating. So that's my first financial goal. The other one was to buy a building. That's been a goal for the last 5 years, and that's happening. And so building out not only a beautiful space for our guests, but this space is curated for my team. I am custom designing stations that are all encompassed for them, picking out the best equipment and chairs and shampoo bowls and everything that I can find that they will have the best experience for themselves, their service, but also for their bodies and their minds. So that was a big goal. I want to have 15 six-figure hairdressers this year. I had 10 last year. The year before that, I had 5. So I would like to have 15 six-figure hairdressers, and those are some big financial goals. Other ones are really just to travel more and spend more time with my kids. Really intentional time with my kids because they're 13 and 16, and they are having their own lives as teenagers. And mom's kind of on the back burner now, so I want to be with them as much as I can too.
I'm going to add number 5 to your list of getting married.
Yeah, 5-year list of getting married. My fiance is like, when is that happening? I don't know. Next year.
You got so many projects going, but you know what? I love your goals. And, I like how ridiculously specific you were about your goals. I think that's funny. When you brought up travel more, I'm like, but maybe not to an educational event. Maybe it's like something for fun that isn't an right? Because don't
Yes,
we do
oh,
that? We're
totally.
like, we always do that. I absolutely love that, and I love the age that your kids are at. I agree with you that sometimes that is when people say, "How do you do it all? What's," and that can sometimes be what takes the back seat. So I think
Yeah.
that's really important. I love that that is a big priority for you this year. What advice would you give, kind of as we're nearing the end of our conversation, for owners out there who just they feel lit now that they're listening to you? They're fired up. What would you want to share with them to help encourage them that this really could be the best year of their lives and the most profitable and the most impactful for their company and team?
Mm. So some advice. I'll get real serious on this one. You are who you surround yourself with. And if you are the person in your group doing more, then you're in the wrong group. If you are not surrounded by people who are challenging you, pushing you, questioning you, giving you feedback, helping you grow, that to me is I am in some of the most uncomfortable groups. And some of the groups, I'm the big fish, and a lot of other groups, I'm a very small fish in where I'm at because they have dreams and goals and things in their life that are far beyond what I could imagine, and what they're doing is beyond that. So surround yourself with people who you want to be like, aspire to be like. They're living the life that you want to have. Um, they have the heart that you want to have. They're in alignment with who you are, your values, your hopes, your dreams. That's a really big deal for me. So that would be first advice. The second is don't believe everything that you read in all of these Facebook groups and industry groups, because you can create whatever you want. And if you listen to the negative, you will have the negative. If you listen to the positive, you will have the positive. And I don't believe that things are woe is me right now. I think we have the greatest opportunity in this industry to make the biggest impact, to shift our businesses, to build our teams, and to create more for everything we want to have in the coming years. So I think that this year is the perfect time.
I absolutely love everything about this conversation today, Shelby. You are really a light and energetic, um, just amazing woman. I'm super thankful that we now know each other, and I can't wait to see you soon at one of the upcoming HPSA events. So, thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate you and all you're doing for our industry, and just love it. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you all for joining us here week after week at Beyond the Technique. Look, if you love this platform, would you take a moment to leave us a positive review wherever you're listening so that more people like yourself will discover Beyond the Technique, where we're here to change the way that you are supported in your business. Until next time, everybody, have an awesome day and stay strong.